we are going to see now how we are going to build a block diagram from a bond graph model. On the screen, you see this system that has a F source, an R element, and a C element, a simple system. So let's engage in a systematic way of creating this this block diagram model. What I would suggest is that the very first thing we do is we number these bonds so that we can refer to them. So the next step, what I would like to do is put the efforts and the flows in both, of each one of the bonds. So why don't we say procedure here? I'm just going to write it down. Procedure. All right. One would be, I would say, label bonds. Two, I would say draw structure of the block diagram. You would say by sketching, I would say sketching. Sketching the efforts and flows on each element. Okay, so why don't we do that? We just say, okay, look, here's the effort 1, and in here I would say this is flow 1. This is the effort 2, and this is flow 2. This is effort 3, and this is flow 3, like that. Very good. And then I would say step number 3 is draw the block diagrams of the individual elements. Okay. Okay, so now we have these connections here. This is the source of effort in here. Obviously, the effort comes out this way, and this is this block is the representation of this. Now this one we have to see which is the output of the R element. Output of the R element is F2, so it has to be like this, yeah? So in order for F2 to be the output, E2 is the input. This thing is represented by static algebraic relationship multiplied by 1 over R, right? That's the way it goes for this kind of causal stroke, and where the flow is the output. This one here, you see this is the output of the C. So that means the effort is the output this way, the flow is the input. And if this is true, the flow gets, we get an integration, we get, this is 1 over S, and then we connect it like this, and we multiply it by, this is integral form, right? This will be 1 over C, and out comes this. So this is the block diagram of the C element now. And so what are we going to do with now that we have this? Now that we have this, we need to, on number 4, we need to draw the block diagram of the connections, of the 0 and 1 connections. Keeping in mind, obviously, how the signals add and what's common and everything. What's common to this one over here? I'm going to change color so you can see it clearly, that the common variables are the flows. So that means that these variables are the same, and they would be drawn like this, see? But you see in here, something is as if there's a hole in here, because it's calling us to add the forces or the efforts the way this bond graph tells us to do. So in this case, we have this, and you see if it is written like this 2 coming in equals to this going out, then we need to figure out the signs in here. So in here you see this is the way I would write this equation here is that I would do that f1 is equal to f sub 2 is equal to f sub 3, but that e1 is equal to e2 plus e sub 3. So e sub 2 on this case would be, we will have to rewrite this. So e2 is equal to e1 minus e3. But this new one was derived from this equation, just written it in the output form. So you say e1 minus e sub 3, so e1 positive, e sub 3 negative, and we are done with this block diagram of this bond graph model.